Hello and welcome to a new episode on Sadhana World Foundation. As usual, we will pick up a topic from our day-to-day lives and connect that experience with the wisdom which is embedded in our ancient texts. Recently, I came across a conversation happening in a family where people of multiple generations were there. They were discussing something very important to the family, a matter of the family. They were trying to figure out a way forward. So the eldest, who's respected, who's experienced, started speaking and was giving his analysis of how the matter is and how it needs to be resolved. The others were listening. Visibly, the listeners were little uncomfortable about the interpretation of the eldest. So the youngest started speaking. They started putting their points of view. However, the eldest person felt not being respected, not being heard, while the youngest felt that the eldest in the family is relying on his experience, which is almost like legacy, which is way back in the past, and the reality has shifted. The points of views were very different. However, the eldest in the family, because he felt disrespected, suddenly the conversation started taking a different turn. He expected the youngest to listen to him, to fall in line, accept his point of view. So somewhere, probably the ego came into picture. So the conversation clearly broke down, and of course they departed and the issue remained where it was. In my mind, the elder was seeking respect, seeking alignment, and the youngest wanted to be heard, wanted to be trusted. Who won? Nobody. Who lost? I think the family lost. A resolution which would have helped the family to move forward did not come through. Situations like this happen in our lives, isn't it? It's not only at our homes, it happens at our workplace. It happens amongst friends. So how do people handle this? And I'm sure there is wisdom available for all of us to reflect. So what is it? Let's start with Srimad Bhagavad Gita. You see, Sri Krishna comes there as a friend of Arjun, starts advising him, starts a dialogue, listens to Arjun's points of view, and dialogues. He doesn't command. See how he is handling his knowledge, his wisdom, how he is providing that to his friend. And of course, in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna particularly talks about the ego, and he says, when ego takes over, the wisdom stops. Let's think of another ancient text. I came across a Taoist thought. It says, water is soft, yet it wears down the hardest of the stone. So friends, what we learn from this? Beautiful, isn't it? Water is soft, but it wears down the hardest of the stone. So it tells me that the authority which doesn't know how to bend becomes brittle. It breaks. So authority without gentleness becomes brittle. In Kathopanishad, this is the third one, I found something very interesting as well. It says, the one who observes without reacting holds true power. Very profound, very deep. So all my three stories here, or the three lessons of wisdom that I could gather, all of them are addressing how to deal with one's ego. All those three tell us to become gentle, like the water. It tells us to absorb, to observe, to listen, to absorb before you start reacting. Now think of another dimension. One is your ego, which is internal, which tells you to respond, to react in a certain manner, to behave in a certain manner. Another is about the way we respond, the way we express. So I came across something very, very interesting again in our Upanishads. It is in Taittiriya Upanishad. It says, truth spoken pleasantly is the right truth. It says, when the truth is spoken harshly, it is destructive. Hence, we must all communicate with compassion. Think how our communication is going to land on the other person. Similarly, a beautiful thought is there in the Buddhist stories. It says that the right truth is the truth which is truthful, which is timely, which is beneficial, and which is expressed in a gentle manner. So 4 things they say about truth. So let's go back to the story or my experience of the conversation in a family. There the elder tried to win and the family lost. So in that conversation, there were both the things which were happening. One, somebody was trying to win because one is seeking power, authority, respect from others. That's the ego. And second, the manner in which the elder was expressing. Probably it was not pleasant for the others to listen to, and hence they were unwilling to pay attention to what is being spoken. Forget about the beneficiality, forget about the timeliness, forget about the truthfulness of what was being spoken. After all, it was someone's experience. It cannot be falsehood. So, ladies and gentlemen, my dear friends, when a discussion happens between 2 parties, think of A and B, one party wants to be heard, the other party wants to be respected. So what comes in between a good discussion? I think there are 2 factors which come in the middle of this. One is ego, second is the manner in which discussions take place. So let's not collide and lose. Let's absorb, let's observe, let's take a pause and decide how to respond. All our ancient texts point us in that direction. Think about this.